Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something that feels like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening right now in China, the robotics revolution. Personally, I think this is one of the most fascinating and potentially transformative developments of our time, and I can't wait to share my thoughts with you. So, let's start with a guy named Chen Liang, the founder of Guchi Robotics. What makes this really interesting is that Chen isn't just building robots. He's on a mission to replace as many human workers in car factories as possible. In my opinion, this raises a deeper question: are we liberating workers from tedious jobs, or are we just making them obsolete? Chen's robots are already doing tasks like installing wheels and dashboards for top Chinese car brands, and he's got his eyes set on automating 80% of the final assembly process. That's huge. Now, what many people don't realize is that China is pouring an insane amount of money into robotics and AI. We're talking a £100 billion fund for strategic technologies, and cities are jumping on the bandwagon too. There are over 140 Chinese firms trying to build humanoids, and some of them are already making headlines. Imagine robots performing comedy sketches and martial arts routines on national TV. It's like something out of a futuristic dream. But here's the thing. This isn't just about cool performances. China is dead serious about leading the world in robotics. Personally, I find it fascinating how quickly they are progressing. Last year, it was synchronized cheerleading, this year, cartwheels and parkour. The message is clear: China is building the robots of the future. Now, let's talk about the tech behind this. Deep learning, the same stuff that powers ChatGPT, is being used to teach robots to navigate the physical world. Researchers believe that by absorbing enough data, robots can develop something like human dexterity. In my opinion, this is both exciting and a bit unsettling. What this really suggests is that we might be closer to a world where humanoid robots can do factory work, potentially replacing millions of jobs worldwide. I recently visited several robotics companies in China, and what struck me was the seamless integration between private companies and municipal governments. It's like the distinction between public and private is blurring. These entrepreneurs are in a race to build robots that can replace human workers, and some of them already have Western buyers knocking on their doors. One thing that immediately stands out is the irony of the situation. Remember when Trump wanted to bring manufacturing jobs back to the US? Well, a lot of the machinery needed for that is coming from China. Chen Liang himself told me that Chinese engineers are just as capable as American ones. It's all about cost, speed, and the sheer number of people they can throw at a problem. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a huge shift in the global manufacturing landscape. Now, let's talk about the human side of this. I met an American engineer at General Motors who works in manufacturing optimization. His job? To eliminate as many people from the production line as possible. They chose Guchi's robots because they could offer a moving assembly line, which meant eliminating 12 assembly operators at a single factory. From my perspective, this is a stark reminder of how technology is reshaping the workforce, and not always in a way that benefits workers. Chen Liang has a point when he says that young people, even in China, are less willing to do factory work. But this raises a deeper question: if robots take over these jobs, what happens to the millions of workers who rely on them? Chen seems to think it's inevitable, but I can't help but wonder about the social consequences. Now, let's shift gears and talk about Galbot, one of China's most hyped humanoid robotics startups. They are taking a different approach by building robots that can perform mundane tasks reliably. What makes this really interesting is that they are using vision language action models, VLAs, to allow robots to operate in unfamiliar environments, just like humans. But here's the catch: training these robots requires a ton of data, and that's where teleoperators come in. Teleoperators are essentially human trainers who guide robots through tasks thousands of times, recording every action. It's a labor-intensive process, and it's often done by young workers in vocational training programs. Personally, I find this fascinating because it highlights the invisible workforce behind the robotics boom. These workers are at the center of one of the most consequential technological transformations of our time, yet their contributions are largely unseen. I visited a robot training center in Beijing, where teleoperators were training robots to do tasks like sorting boxes and pouring water. It was strange to see humans acting more like robots, moving at a pace the machine could register, keeping their arms in set positions. What this really suggests is that as we train robots to be more human, we're also training humans to be more robotic. It's a weird feedback loop that I think is worth reflecting on. Now, let's talk about Unitree, a company that's making waves with its humanoid robots. They've shipped over 5,500 robots, and their performances have gone viral. Elon Musk even called one of their videos impressive. But what's really interesting is their business model. Unitree's main customers are labs and universities, which buy the robots to develop software. In my opinion, this is a smart strategy because it allows them to focus on hardware while others innovate on the software side. One detail I find fascinating is the structural advantage China has in hardware production. The dense network of suppliers in cities like Shenzhen means that robot makers can tweak prototypes in less than a day. This creative destruction is a normal part of the process, and it's one of the reasons China is leading the way in humanoid robotics. But here's the thing, the US and China are taking different approaches. The US is aiming for the sci-fi vision of a general-purpose humanoid, while China is focusing on reliable, task-specific robots. Personally, I think this could lead to a future where the US produces one super robot that can do everything, but China supplies the world with cheaper, specialized robots. It's a trade-off between versatility and affordability. Finally, let's talk about the bigger picture. China's robotics boom is being driven by a combination of government support, cheap technology, and a coordinated effort to prioritize innovation. But it's not all rosy. The rapid rollout of technologies like driverless taxis and humanoid traffic cops is impressive, but it also raises questions about job displacement and economic inequality. Even Chen Liang admits that the social consequences of his work are something he's had to think about. In my opinion, the robotics revolution is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it promises to make our lives easier and more efficient. On the other hand, it challenges us to rethink the role of work in society. As we move forward, I think it's crucial to have these conversations and consider the implications for workers, economies, and our shared future. So, what do you think? Are we ready for a world where robots do most of the work? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. See you next time.